So when we're thinking about a strategic partnership, one of my tips is to think about people within your network who are basically able to speak to the same customer as you, but not be competing for the same customer because they're offering the exact same service. They just need to be able to complement it. Why? Because I'm actually also going to share with you a couple of tips if you don't necessarily have someone in your network, but you do know that a collaboration is the way that you want to go. Welcome to the Disruptionist, where the status quo has no seat at the table. I'm Jess Singh, and this is your invitation to join the movement of game-changing, boundary-pushing strategies that will take your marketing, branding, and customer journey to the next level. Let's get disruptive. Can we talk about relationships? No, you haven't tuned in to the wrong podcast. This is about relationships in terms of marketing and branding. So what am I specifically talking about? More recently, I've been working with a client who has basically been able to have a greater impact out there in terms of who they're able to speak to, simply because of a really smart and strategic partnership and relationship that they've had with a person who's trying to target the same sort of customers but offer a really different service. So essentially what this is talking about is getting smart in who you have within your network, where you can actually come together to be able to provide and add value to the same customer, but not actually compete against yourselves. So when we're thinking about a strategic partnership, one of my tips is to think about people within your network who are basically able to speak to the same customer as you, but not be competing for the same customer because they're offering the exact same service. They just need to be able to complement it. Why? Because by combining your service and the service of this strategic partner, you're actually adding more value to the person that you're both trying to serve. So I want to share with you an example that's really working right now. There's two companies that I'm working with, one of who basically enables to educate business owners on how to buy and sell businesses, something that is constantly on their minds, because sometimes the next opportunity is not necessarily creating a new product or service, but actually acquiring a business that complements what they're already doing. And she's joined forces with a gentleman who is actually already speaking to business owners because of a complementary service. He's got a particular niche, and it just so happens that the people that he's speaking to is a new audience for this lady who is able to offer mergers and acquisitions expertise. It's an amazing opportunity for them to come together and create a bespoke brand. And it feels exclusive because the audience is basically these people who just want to be educated. They want and trust the first company, the gentleman who has a service that he offers. By him associating and providing an opportunity for another lady to come in here, he's basically vetting and verifying her. So what happens in this particular scenario is, because the client has, or the business owners have, a particular trusted relationship with the first business owner, simply by him recommending and joining forces with the second business owner in a joint event, that signals to them that this person is someone that they can trust, that the service that this second business will offer will be of a high quality, similar to maybe what they've been used to getting with business A. And again, for business B, for her, it's basically giving her a chance to share her expertise, her knowledge, and the ability to potentially help more businesses that she would have otherwise never have had such a great introduction to. A completely cold audience has now been turned into much more of a warm audience, where hopefully they're going to like what she has to offer, what she has to sell, and how she can support them is going to be in true alignment with what their business goals are with business A. So sometimes you don't have the ability to actually already know someone, and you have to make the hard yards and go out there and find someone to collaborate with who you might not know all that well. I'm actually also going to share with you a couple of tips if you don't necessarily have someone in your network, but you do know that a collaboration is the way that you want to go. Simply approach another brand and truly get to know who and how they are targeting their particular customer base. So one of the best ways that you can actually approach a collaboration, if you don't have someone in your network already that you know, like, and trust, is to approach the business owner and ask them a few questions about who their audience is and who their business is, what they're trying to achieve. If you sort of see that there's a values-based match and it nicely complements what you're trying to do, it could be that that person's product, for example, could make a beautiful sort of contribution to a competition that you're trying to create out there just to get more leads and more potential customers. So for example, if you are a beauty services, you do massages or aromatherapy and you happen to find another brand who offers some beautiful sort of massage oils, you might not be in the market of selling those oils. By really having a great conversation with that particular business owner, you may find a strategic partnership there where they have the same sort of values on maybe the products sourced from Australia because you're all about the Australian economy and supporting Australian businesses. So that's a great way of basically partnering with someone where you have a service to offer, they've got a product in that same particular market or that's going to be attractive to the same customer. It could be done with something as simple as a competition. So not only does that particular business with the product get to have potentially some new customers, but you could potentially get some new customers who are coming in and trying your service for the first time too. So something to consider about strategic partnerships or collaborating with other brands is that the relationship might not always be equal. So long as you're going into those relationships and you're super transparent about who's responsible for what and therefore how you are going to divide, the outcomes, that's the most important thing to always keep top of mind. Now, a way to really explain that is if we've got one business who basically has an amazing amount of content. Now, that person's gone to the trouble of creating it. Now, the second business might simply have a new audience for that course to be sold to. So you want to make sure that this person over here with the content is properly compensated for all the work that they've done. And maybe the company that they collaborate with just gets a nice commission. So in these sort of instances, it might just be something like a 20% commission from the amount of the course fee, keeping in mind the time, effort, and contribution that brand A makes versus what brand B makes. So when is actually the right time to consider a partnership? It's not a one-size-fits-all approach for every business, but there are some times when it becomes a super ideal moment within your business's strategy to consider a partnership. What happens if you feel as though you're not really getting any more growth? Things are stagnating. The people that you're talking to, it seems as though they're not that interested right now. Well, it could be that simply by sharing your product or service with a new market, it could revive the sales for you. So that could be a really, really good time to actually consider any other businesses out there that complement what you're offering to the same audience. So another time to consider a strategic partnership, it could be around some sort of big event or something that's timely, that's happening in the calendar. So what happens if it's almost Christmas time and people are looking for like the most perfect little gift hampers? You might have a great candle or moisturizing cream, and on your own, if you're trying to capture a market, it might not work as well as collaborating with another couple of little small businesses, putting your items together and selling them as a package, because quite often a single candle might not be the greatest gift, but during Christmas, a beautiful hamper might be exactly what your potential customer needs. So to sum up today's episode, we've basically talked about strategic partnerships, when they're great to use, the things to look out for so that it's a really balanced relationship, and you're both getting the outcomes that you both deserve. And finally, of course, when is the right time to consider a strategic partnership? Hopefully this has got you thinking about something new, something different. It's not your typical marketing and branding type topics, but it definitely works if you know what you're doing. So strategic partnerships is all about getting the right person to help you. And so in this particular case, if you don't even know where to start, and this is something you're super interested in, make sure you DM me, contact me, and let's get started on your strategic partnership opportunities as well. Thanks for joining me on The Disruptionists. If this episode sparked new ideas or challenged your thinking, I'd love your support with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And don't forget to subscribe to your favorite platform to catch every disruptive insight. For more behind-the-scenes content and to connect with like-minded disruptors, follow me at It's Jess Singh across all social platforms. And remember, stay disruptive.